Okay, hi everybody. All right, welcome to our very first webinar, Tuesday Tips. We are trying to get everyone, make sure we're not having any technical difficulties. If everyone can hear me, can you go ahead and chat on the right-hand side and let us know that you can hear us, that you can see our PowerPoint, Pam's beautiful face? That would be awesome. All right, Jean said hi. Oh, and make sure you're putting, when you're sending the chat, you can put it to all, to the entire audience so that everyone can see it. Because it looks like Jean only sent it to us, organizers and audience. For organizers and panelists. Same thing for you, Alexander. It won't let you share it to everybody?
Nope.
Looks like people are only letting, it looks like maybe they're only letting you guys ask questions. Okay, that's fine. Everything looks good and we can hear you as well. Thanks, Alessia. Alyssa, I can hear. Joseph can hear me clearly. Chris Hauser, yours says questions. Thumbs up. Okay, cool. Good to know. Everyone can hear. We're gonna leave or give a couple more minutes for some people to sign on, and then we will go ahead and get started. So it's 1 o'clock on the dot. So let's give people a couple minutes. Just hopefully no one is having any technical difficulties. Can you see this? Yes, I can, Alyssa. Hi, Natalie. Can you all smile? I'm taking a picture for social media. It's from Alyssa, so everyone smile. All right, hopefully we held that long enough, Alyssa.
Everyone's gonna be like, did it freeze?
I want to see if I can pop out the questions panel. There we go. Now I can actually like read what people are saying. It was so tiny on my screen. Stacy, how's everything going for you with your quarantine?
I'm not 100% quarantined because we're working in the showroom on appointments and we're doing a rotating basis.
Okay.
So I'm still working a lot, still active, taking care of Gabs and the dogs. We're good.
Nice. I have a message from George Faber. Hi, everyone. I sent info over as a quick hello for anyone, agent or staff or others seeking health insurance. Please see LinkedIn. Okay. We will check that, George. Let's see, I got that. Alyssa, Joseph. Patrick, looks like you said you would just try to call in. Hopefully you can hear us. I'm gonna shoot you a message. Blake is in listen only mode, Pam?
Yeah.
Blake says, looks like I'm muted. All right, Blake, let me see if I can give you permissions, and then it's 1:03, so we'll get started. Give me 1 second. Let me see what I can do for Blake since he is one of our presenters. Blake, can you try and speak, please?
I think I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And if you want, you should be able to do webcam for you to be able to turn on video as well.
Let's see. Is that over under? That's not obviously with the audio.
What was that?
I'm just trying to see how to turn on the webcam.
Got it. Okay. All right. Let's get started. It's 1:04, so we'll be starting about 5 minutes late. Thank you guys for your patience. Thank you so much for giving me some feedback. This is our very first webinar, so I anticipated a couple of issues, maybe a little bit of technical difficulties, and I appreciate everyone giving feedback. I know everyone can hear Blake right now. He is going to try and get his video working, and then should be able to get started. So Pam, I'm going to give you the floor and go ahead and get started. If anyone has any questions, I am seeing them on the right-hand side of my screen, so go ahead and give those when necessary. All right, Pam, all yours.
All right. Well, hey guys, I wanted to welcome you to our first CR Tuesday tips. Again, like Laura mentioned, thank you so much for your patience with this first one. We'll get better as we go along. So I am Pam Astori. I am part of CR of Maryland's retail team, and I would like to thank you all for taking time out of your day today to join us. Just to kind of give you a little bit of a background, our objective for Tuesday Tips is going to be an open forum. So like Laura said, anytime you have a question, please go ahead and put it there. Laura, I am not seeing them, so I'm going to have to count on you to have a look at that.
Yep.
And we'll be presenting a specific topic each week, and we'll have a guest speaker each week to address that topic. So we did have a great response for this webinar. We have 100 slots that are open for this webinar. If you weren't able to get on, we are recording this, right, Laura?
Yes, we are. We're actively recording. Probably got all of my silliness with trying to figure out the technical difficulties.
So we will be able to get this out to you. If you weren't able to get on, or you didn't have time, we'll get this out to you. So just feel free to reach out to me and we'll get that over to you. So our agenda this week, we'll move on to the next slide. Okay, great. So our agenda this week is going to be discussing turnkeys, and that's going to be with our own Alexander Cruz. And then after that, we're going to have an update from our partner lenders. I know we have Blake on from Absolute Home Mortgage, and we also had scheduled to have Josh from Trias Lending. I know he also had another call, so if he's able to jump on later on, he will. If not, Blake will be able to update us on what's going on. And we also have Stacy here with Floors, Etc., and she is going to be updating us on some of the latest trends in the flooring industry. And we will also open it up to a Q&A session at the end. But again, don't wait till the end. If you have any questions, please, this is an open forum for us all to just have open discussion. So let's go ahead and get started. I'd like to welcome Alexander Cruz, CR's Director of Turnkey Sales. Hi, Xander.
Hey Pam, how are you?
Good. I would like for you to introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about what your role is at CR of Maryland, and then you can jump right in and let us know what is Turnkey.
Sure, okay. So like Pam said, my name is Alexander, but everybody actually calls me Xander, so feel free to call me that if you're already not familiar. I've been with CR Maryland for a long time, and this is actually now my 9th year in real estate. I work on the turnkey department, so a really short summary of what all that says is I'm responsible for buying our turnkeys, work with a great team of people to acquire a bunch of homes, work closely with our construction team to get them renovated, and then we sell them to turnkey investors, buyers on the back end that buy them, and they're actually from all over the country. So some are local and some are from the West Coast and everywhere in between. So there's no limitation on where you are if you want to buy a turnkey from us. And that's a really short story of how we got here. So Laura, we can flip over to the next slide.
Chris Housley gave you West Virginia woot woot, just so you know.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I did go to West Virginia. I am from here in Baltimore and still live here in Baltimore.
Go Mountaineers. All right, next up.
So next is a little short video we put together just explaining quickly what a turnkey is.
Sorry, are you guys still seeing the screen?
Yep.
With all the options out there, why invest in real estate? Unlike stocks and bonds, real estate has a predictable cash flow. Real estate appreciates in value. As the cost of
Oops, I'm sorry.
living increases, so does the value of your investment. Building equity is essentially
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
putting your money to work for you.
I'm not clicking anything.
Your hands up.
These deductions can offset income and reduce your overall tax. Ask yourself, do I really want to put my money in Wall Street? Or do I want a tangible asset that I control? Real estate can be leveraged, unlike mutual funds and IRAs that hold your money hostage. You've worked hard. It's time to let your money work for you. What if you could have all the benefits of real estate investment without the hassle of being a landlord? You can, and we have the key.
All right.
Thanks, Laura. So yeah, at a really high level, that video kind of touches on why and how somebody can invest in real estate, and actually in a really easy way. So obviously there's a lot of things happening in the world right now. This is a great time to talk about turnkey and real estate investing. And there's a lot of ways you can invest in real estate. This is just one way, and it's one way that we're really passionate about, and I like to think that we're pretty good at. So what we do at CR is we find properties, we renovate the properties completely, we find and place a tenant in the property, and then that's when a turnkey investor, that could be you might not know that you're a turnkey investor at this point, but that's what you're buying. So you're buying a fully rehabbed, fully tenanted, and fully managed property. The only thing you have to do is write a check, work with your loan officer to get a mortgage for the property, go to closing, and you'll start collecting rent. And the best part is when I say start collecting rent, you just get a check from us. You don't actually have to collect rent. You don't have to talk to tenants. You don't have to deal with any of that. We're going to do all of that for you. So it's a really great way for people to get into real estate investing and capture all the benefits of real estate investing without all the hassle and the headache and the risk that a lot of people deal with in the other avenues of investing. Go ahead, Laura.
So I see some questions coming through. Chris Housley, do you have any active listings? I'm going to save that one. And then do you send them to market or in-house sales? I'm also going to save some of these for our Q&A through at the end, as Pam mentioned. And Howard, I see your question as well. And that might go into our mortgage question. So I'm going to go ahead on to the next slide. Xander, all yours.
Sure. So some of it we already touched on, but why turnkey? Again, it's really ideal investment for somebody that is looking to invest in real estate, but doesn't have the time or doesn't want to deal with looking for properties to buy, then managing a renovation, then managing a tenant. That's a lot of moving parts and a lot of different areas of expertise. The way we're structured is we have that broken up into different departments of our company. So it's everything I just touched on is somebody's actual job with us. So we have an acquisitions department, we have a renovation department, we have a property management department. All of that is an important function of a turnkey that I'll say the average investor doesn't have time to do. Most people have jobs. It's pretty rare that we see, in our country that people are full-time real estate investors. It's great when people get to that level, but that's not the norm. However, the average landlord is not a full-time investor. So this is a great way for people to get into this world that probably have a hard time getting in with a full-time job, families, and everything else that they already have to manage. So we acquire properties as efficiently as possible. We have a very strict set of rules that we follow on what properties we buy. So you can know by the time that you or somebody you know is investing with us in a turnkey property, this property has already been through our entire process of approvals to make sure that it's a safe and wise investment, and it's going to be a property that a tenant's going to move into and people are going to want to live in.
Right. Okay, we got another video here. My favorite picture of Eric frozen there. And I will not click this.
Hey there, I'm Alexander Cruz. And I'm Eric Brewer, CR, Maryland,
I lied,
Oh.
I clicked.
Turnkey Rentals.
The Baltimore region is centrally located in the heart of the Eastern Seaboard. It consists of the independent city of Baltimore and 5 counties in Maryland, including Baltimore, Carroll, Harford, Anne Arundel, and Howard counties. The real estate investment business is booming. The Baltimore region continues to rapidly grow, creating a huge demand for housing. There are tons of job opportunities, and the location is convenient to DC and Philadelphia. This area is home to some of the biggest brands in the nation. We're also home to 10 military bases and 4 Fortune 500 companies. Maryland is the second most educated state with the highest concentration of workers in STEM occupations and the highest percentage of employed PhDs and engineers in the country.
So why choose CR of Maryland? We've been in business for 14 years and have purchased, sold, and renovated thousands of homes. CR of Maryland currently owns a personal portfolio of nearly 300 homes throughout the Baltimore market. We have a proven track record. We have systems and processes already in place to help you be successful. Every single one of our turnkey properties comes with a complete home inspection and a complimentary 1-year home warranty. Our property management professionals handle every aspect of your turnkey investment. We make sure the home is full and generating revenue from day one. We take every one of the tenant calls and arrange all the repairs. We make sure your investment is producing income. You sit back and watch your portfolio grow. We're excited to work with you. We love what we do, and it shows in our results.
Time is now, the place is here, and we're the team to get you there.
CR Maryland Turnkey.
I love that video. Again, so yeah, I know a lot of people on the call are local here to Baltimore and already know why they want to invest in Baltimore, but not everybody does. So it's just a few important points there. So getting into why people should work with us and why CR. Again, it's the thing I love most about Turnkey is that it combines several different aspects of our business that we've spent years building and perfecting. So buying and acquisitions, I kid you not, this is probably the longest part and the part that still evolves today. As the market changes and, due to a variety of reasons, it changes and the competition changes and prices change, buying is constantly evolving. So that's something that we've devoted a whole team to, a lot of marketing to, and it's something we talk about every day, even on the weekends. So it all starts with buying a house, but then it rolls right into the renovation team, where again, that's taken years to, I don't want to say perfect, because no offense if they're listening, they're not perfect, but get it as close to perfect as you can. And we're always striving for that. We always want to be and aim for perfection. So, working on older homes and bringing them to today's standards is a big challenge. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of unforeseen challenges that come up along the way, and it's a lot of people involved. Our list of some subcontractors that we work with is close to 1,000 deep. So there's a lot of personnel involved there and a lot of process involved. And then last but not least, and probably the most important, is our property management team. Again, that's something that we built from the ground up. Brock, who's not on this call, actually, I'll give him the credit. He did build that from the ground up. And it's head and shoulders above what your average property management company will do. And it really shows in the results. So we have investors that have been working with us for a while now, and they come back to us to buy more homes because they want to work with our team. And for all those reasons, we're buying the right properties, we're renovating in the right way, and then we're managing them to a really high level after the sale, which is the most important part for the owner who is expecting a good return, and then also for the tenant. We want to treat people the right way, and we want our tenants to stay and enjoy their property and enjoy the management team, because that's how we help protect the investor's investment is making sure that there's a happy tenant in place who's going to pay their rent and stay for a long time. So, that ties right into the middle and third bullet point there, but doing things the CR way, it's always a consistent product. It is high quality. Quality is drilled into everybody's head from day one here. Everything that we do has to be done at a really high level. And that matches our core values, and it's kind of key to our operation. But it's integrity, respect, commitment, and continually striving for perfection. That's how we are able to do what we do at a high level. If we don't have those things, the results won't be there. So last but not least, again, touching on the renovations, to have a high quality renovation is how you're going to get a good turnkey product. If we were doing mediocre to subpar renovation work, it's going to show the returns are not going to be there. So that's really important to us that we maintain those standards, and that's why turnkey investors are comfortable buying from us.
Chris Hasley has a good question about the property management, while we're talking about that, Xander. So she asked what we charge for management after when someone purchases the home.
Sure, that's a great question. So at this point in time, we're one of the lowest priced property management companies in the country. This is exclusive to people that buy a turnkey house from us. So the people that buy a turnkey product from us, we only charge 6%. I was on the phone call with another turnkey company from Boston today, and we were discussing management fees, and he said, wow, I've only ever come across one other company that only charges 6% on the management fee. He was pretty surprised by that. So again, for us, we really view it as a service to the investor. We're not in property management to nickel and dime and try to get every percent that we can from the investor. To us, it's more of a relationship. So we're building a long-term relationship. We're going to be managing this property for years. We want it to be a positive one that's a win-win for both parties, and we want them to come back and buy from us again. So that's why we only charge 6% rather than 8 to 10, which is what you normally see.
Awesome. Okay, ready for the next slide?
Yep. Okay, so this one, we're getting a little bit deeper now on the standards of our renovation and also our warranty, which is a really important thing that, again, not everybody's doing that around the country. So our 5-star quality is we take that mentality and approach to every aspect of the house that we renovate. So getting a little specific, but all of our trades and contractors are properly licensed and insured. Nobody can start work on a property of ours without meeting those qualifications. In addition to that, it's been our standard for years. Every possible permit that can and should be pulled on a property renovation is done, and again, that's done prior to work starting. So we never run into an issue of things not being done the right way. We expect that, and we hold our contractors to that standard. There's a inspection with the city or the county inspectors, and then we bring in a third inspector at the end, a home inspector, to triple check that all the work is done properly. It meets current code, meets current rental licensing and housing code. And again, it's safe, it's secure, it's done right, it's going to last a long time. A few other things that we get into, we always use stainless steel appliances. Yes, black appliances are cheaper, but they're less desirable, they're less popular. The house might not rent as well. So we save a little bit of money on black appliances, but it might not rent as quickly. That costs money. So every aspect of the renovation we do, we're trying to make the house as presentable and as desirable to tenants so that tenants will want to move there quicker and stay. So professional project management from start to finish, that's on every single job that we do. Rigorous quality control checks and final inspections. So again, quality control is not just something that happens at the end of the job. It happens multiple times every single week of the job. This comes from the project manager who's overseeing the job, the senior project manager, and then also through several other team members, including myself, Brian, who's not here, occasionally Brock. There are numerous team members that are checking the quality of each job throughout the job to make sure that it's done the right way. And then again, like I said, last but not least, we have a third-party home inspector who's licensed with the state of Maryland. He'll come in and do a full-blown inspection of the house at the end, and that report is provided for free to buyers. We pay for that. So on the warranty side of things, it's a big question that a lot of buyers ask about. is that they're buying a house that oftentimes they've never even seen. So obviously there's a lot of trust there. They want to make sure that they're protected and that there's going to be, if something goes wrong, they're going to be taken care of. So we try to keep it really simple. We do a 1-year workmanship warranty from the day that they purchase the house. So if 9 months down the road, the air conditioner stops working for some reason, we're going to fix it at our expense. It's probably covered under the manufacturer warranty, but no matter what, we're going to assure that buyer that we're going to take care of it. We're going to fix it. So that covers every aspect of the improvements on the house, including but not limited to electric, plumbing, HVAC, roofing, windows, flooring, cabinetry. Also appliances is not mentioned there. So in that last bullet point, the manufacturer warranties, they transfer to the new owner, so we don't keep them, they actually go to the buyer. So again, appliances, HVAC, and roofing, hot water heaters, those all transfer to the new owner.
Great. Next slides are the best ones in my opinion. A couple examples of some of our before and after work here. I don't know, Xander, if you have anything to say about any of these.
No, they're fun to look at. I don't think they even can capture how drastically different some of these homes are. I wish you could smell them because that would be a really good indicator. They don't smell good when we start oftentimes, but at the end, the fresh paint, the refinished hardwood, it has that new smell is really refreshing. So we buy homes in a variety of conditions. As you can see, that bottom one was actually a shell. And then we bring it back to today's life and today's standards.
I don't think anyone else on the call wishes that we could smell these photos except for you. So thanks for that. All right, next up is some of our frequently asked questions, which I just felt like was a really good idea to include here since we're having the Q&A. Some of these things might answer what a potential investor might be interested in, or if there's any agents on this call who feel like they know some people who sounds like the turnkey property investing could be good for them. These are some questions I'll probably get hit with right away.
Of course. So off the bat, do you have to be a landlord? And that's a big thing that people hear. Oh, you're going to buy a rental property. Are you ready to be a landlord? Well, the answer is actually no. You don't have to landlord at all. This is a true passive investment because we're going to do all the landlording for you. So you'll never talk to a tenant. You'll never deal with a maintenance request. You don't show the property. You don't market it. We're going to do all of that for you. All the registrations with the local jurisdiction, that's all done by us. So again, all you have to do, looking at it really simply, is pay for the house and then get your rent check. But we're going to do the rest. So that's a common question. Getting more specific, do we offer a volume discount? Yes, we have a lot of buyers that decide to buy 2 or 3 or 4 properties. When that happens, we do offer them a credit on each purchase, and it goes right to their closing costs so that it saves them a little cash out of pocket. Big thing everybody looks at is their cash on cash return. So any way that we can increase that, we're happy to do so. And then last but not least, can I finance my purchase? Yes, most people have cash that they want to invest, but probably not a substantial amount. The great thing about this model is you can leverage that. So you only need to put 20% down. It's a Fannie Mae product. I'm sure most of you have heard of Fannie Mae. This is a conventional loan, 20% down. The interest rates are still really, really good. Should still be below 5%. And that means it's a great way to lock in a 30-year mortgage on an investment property where the value is going to go up, the rent price is going to go up, but your mortgage payment's going to stay the same. That's pretty amazing, and a great way that I'll say in, let's say 10 years, your returns will be substantially better, should be substantially better than they are today. But the returns are good from day one. So that's what I love about this process and this model is it's so hands-off. It's very straightforward. It's very predictable. And not only that, interest rates are so low right now, it's really, really cheap and a great way to invest in property that's just going to go up in value. So I know we have Blake on the call, and I'm sure he can get into more on the lending side, but our homes do qualify for financing, and I'm not sure what that sound is.
I think Blake.
It's some intro music.
We can hear you now.
Okay. You can hear me. Sorry, I for some reason couldn't get the video to work, but as long as everybody can hear me, I think that's the most important thing.
Yes, sir.
Xander, You hit the nail on the head. Interest rates are still extremely low. We're still seeing rates, yes, in the 4% for investment properties. Xander, one thing to add to what you were saying with the 20% down, we have actually done investment loans all the way down to 15% down. Now, obviously, there's certain things that we have to talk about, like PMI, having a little bit more reserves. But as investors, you guys will see that a lot of times the things that the mortgage companies are asking you to show, such as reserves in the mortgage payment, having liquidity just in case you don't get it rented out quick enough, those are all things that you're really going to want to spot check yourself anyway before applying for an investment loan, because this is an investment. It's not like you're buying your first property that you and your family are going to live in. This is a property that you're going to be buying to cash flow. So you want to make sure if you're coming out of pocket with 20, 15, 25% out of pocket, you really want to make sure you protect your investment. Now, the one thing I do want to add, Xander, that I think you guys have an unbelievable product right now that we've been seeing in the mortgage space. I think everybody knows. Number one, I'm looking at the stock market ticker right now. I do currently own investment properties myself. And the nice part is I'm still bringing in cash flow, and I'm looking at the Dow. Currently, I think they're like 40% down from record highs. The nice part with real estate, and I'm sure everybody will agree on this call, is that you can still have your cash flow coming in regardless of what the economy is currently doing. The one thing I do want to jump into is a lot of issues that the mortgage industry is running into right now that actually make this product that more enticing. We used to be able to offer renovation loans for our investors. Something we've been seeing in the marketplace, even for people who are doing primary loan renovation loans, such as the 203K, the home style, the investors are slowly pulling out of the market right now. Same thing goes with a lot of the investors that were doing that, quote unquote, the old subprime mortgages. The one thing that I will tell you is you want to be careful when you're looking at those products, because a lot of those investors are now out of the market. They were relying on funding from hedge funds. So the normalized mortgages, such as what Xander was referring to, the Fannie Mae mortgage, the 20% down conventional, those are going to be the loans that you're going to be able to thrive off of, and just pairing it up with this product is a win because you don't need any money for renovations.
Yep, good point, Blake.
And then Pam, I'm not sure that Josh was able to hop on the call, but would you like to do a little intro and kind of talk about his company and what they do?
Right. So I'm glad Blake was able to join us and I guess address some of the questions that we would have with regards to some of the lending. So thank you for that, Blake. And then I just kind of wanted to give an intro for Josh and Blake, because they will both be leading us next week in our topic, which we'll discuss further in, right, Blake?
Yeah, and Pam, I can actually, I work with Josh a lot, so I do know the ins and out of his business. Josh is they're a great lender, number one. So you would come to a company like Absolute Home Mortgage, obviously, if you have the income, you have the, you have the liquidity to buy a property right away through a normalized QM mortgage, such as Fannie Mae or conventional loan. Josh's company operates independently. A lot of times right now you're hearing a lot of the hard money lenders are kind of getting out of the market right now because they're backed by hedge funds. Josh is a privately owned company. So he is actually, the reason why he can't even be on this call is because he is putting out fires right now from other lenders that are not closing on their loans, not quoting, or, pretty much falling apart at the last second. No fault to the lenders, it's just their money's drying up. So Josh's company luckily is able to come in there. I call Josh's company, they're the common sense of mortgage origination. Yes, you're probably going to get a better interest rate if you come to Absolute Home Mortgage for an investment loan. But the biggest thing right now is, and obviously when you have a trusted partner like CR, and Xander and his team can come in and look at the numbers with you, you guys are going to be able to, make sense. Okay, if my mortgage rate is X, the payment's going to be Y. Is that going to be enough for me to make on this property to at least get my feet in the game? That's obviously a decision that you're going to have to make as an investor. But Josh's company offers a great value in terms of alternative financing for those who might not show all of their income on their tax returns. They might be self-employed. They might have had a down year. They might have had a gap in employment. Him and his team do a great job trying not to look at the normalized conventional guidelines and can really break the numbers down to say, hey, I'm going to look at the person. Are they going to be able to withhold their obligation to us? And that's why I'm excited to be presenting with him next week.
That's great. All right. Well, thank you for that introduction. And we look forward to hearing more about that next week. And last but not least, I have Stacy from Floors Etc. And I'm going to be giving her the floor to, no pun intended there, to give us some of the latest trends in flooring.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Stacy with Floors Etc. As Pam said. Thank you guys for having me part of this. I'm a lot of the fun part of the home part of your houses or even your investing, but Floors Etc. is a showroom located on Deerco Road. We are still open by appointment only, and our warehouse and our outlet is open. So we are still conducting business, which is great. People can do home projects, or contractors can continue to work because we are still there to serve. Pam put up, I just quickly yesterday brought up two of the biggest trends, which you've probably heard about, is the luxury vinyl tile or vinyl plank. You've probably heard of that. And the two pictures, the first one to your left or my left is Dixie Home, which is actually a vinyl plank. It looks like wood. And if you look at it, I actually took a picture on wood, engineered wood, and you really can barely tell the difference. So it's a really big trend because it's scratch proof, kind of child proof when they're running through your houses. Waterproof, easy to install. You can do glue or click down, but the click is really an easy installation. And to that point too, if you're doing any home projects, because I know people are kind of getting bored, you can kind of do it yourself. And we're actually offering curbside pickup. So if you call the store, call me or email me, we can actually arrange for getting material ordered, paid for, and delivered without even coming into the showroom. The other side is kind of fun. It's a brand new product that one of my reps sent to me because I saw it. Once again, it's the power of online. She sent an online link out, and it's hard to tell. I have it here, but it's actually, it's cool. It's a vinyl floor, but it looks like, it's so hard to tell. It looks like a grass cloth, like a linen almost. And it comes in all different colors and can be really cool for like a laundry room floor, because once again, the vinyl is resilient and can withstand water and scratches. And it just adds a different look. I can even see this in someone's bathroom, a really cool bathroom, or even a kitchen. So it's hard to see, but there's some cool flooring trends. Color in floors and tile, our etc. part is actually tile. So we have a huge tile portion of the showroom too. And the green is coming in, and blues. It's a lot. You can do a lot of fun things with the flooring part of our store and the etc. part, which is the tile part of our store too. So email me, call me. CR does an amazing job with their renovations, so you don't really have to do too much on their side, but we also have a lot of carpet and area rugs and things like that that can spruce up your place. Everything custom and designed, and do it yourself, or we do full installation. So if you need installation, we have an amazing staff, and we are still doing measures and installations as well. So business is continuing, and we want to be here to help and to keep everybody occupied during these next few months. And I think everybody's thinking about their homes and their offices, and you're kind of looking around like, oh my gosh, what can I do? So we're here, and I want everybody to be happy and safe. And thank you, Pam and team, for having me on here.
Thank you, Stacy. You'll be joining us, every time we have a moment there, so that we can update you on some of our trends. So do we have any questions that we need to address? or have we?
Yes, we do. So I have been getting questions throughout this whole thing, so I'm going to address some of these right now. So I'm just going to go in the order that they came in. So the first question was from Chris Housley, and she said, do you have any active listings for turnkey properties right now, Xander?
So yes, we do have 2 homes available at this moment. I think the easiest way is for you to get in touch with me after this call. Laura, if you can type out my email for him, it's really simple, alexander@crofmaryland.com.
Yep.
Or just get in touch with anybody from this call. They can get you in touch with me. We can certainly go over what's available. I'll get you to the website that has the information, and we can talk more specifics about it. And we do have more homes coming as well.
And I'll put the website in the comments as well. So that should be going to the chat, everyone. So Xander's email is linked there, as well as our website, where you can see some of the other properties that we've sold in the past. And that's where our properties get uploaded as well. Next question says, what percentage mortgage are turnkeys able to receive? And I think this also might be part 2 of Howard's question, loan to value.
Yep, so 80%. So you have to put 20% down. Blake mentioned he may have a program that can go 15% down, but for the most part, I see 20% down is definitely the norm.
All right. Chris Housley again, do you send them to market or are these in-house sales?
These are in-house sales.
All right.
So since they're tenanted properties, we wouldn't list them on the MLS. Don't expect to sell them to retail home buyers.
All right, another question. How do we decide what needs sold to an investor versus sold to an occupant?
Sure, we decide that when we buy a house. So before a renovation ever happens, and likely before we ever put a house under contract, we have a few different tools we use to evaluate a property and what's going to get the best return or what the best use for the property is. And it depends on a lot of different factors. So before we buy it, we'll decide, okay, this is going to be a turnkey or what we call, let's say, a flip, where we're going to sell it to a homeowner that's going to move into the house. So a lot of it's price point driven, based on the area, based on the comps, the rent comps, a whole different variety of factors.
Okay. What is your minimum investment? I'm not sure if you talked about that already.
So our average turnkey price point is $152,000. So just going off of that, if you bought a house for $150,000, 20% down would be $30,000, plus whatever the closing costs are, depending on the lender. So that's going to be normally what about you're looking at for typical out of pocket.
Okay. This is from Howard. Do you pay referral fees for investors that they might refer to us?
Of course, yeah, we'll pay a full commission for that.
Awesome. What do cap rates look like for turnkey? So actually, 2 people asked this. What's the average cap rate?
Our average cap is going to be between 8 and 8.25, 8.25. On a conventional finance deal with 20% down and based on the current market rates, a net cash on cash return, this is a net after your mortgage payments, after an assumed vacancy and assumed maintenance, after every possible expense, our net return we normally see is going to be between 11 and 13%.
All right, and this is our last question. So if you guys have any questions that you've been holding on to, please send them in right now. This one says, do the tenants that you find before you sell the house to the new owner know that the house is being sold?
Yes, we have to under, I forget if it's city law or state law, don't quote me on the law, but we do have to give them notice, and we do provide that prior to them signing a lease, and then they actually sign off on it when they sign their lease.
All right.
It's called first. We provide that.
That was our last question. The last chance if anyone has anything that they'd like to ask. Oh, sorry. No, one more. So the ones listed for rent are already occupied from Chris Housley. So like the ones listed for sale on the site, are they occupied?
It depends on the individual house. Some of them are still under renovation. So of course, if they're still under renovation, they would not be rented yet. Normal turn time for us is typically it will have an accepted tenant in place within about 2 or 3 weeks, and then the move-in date can vary depending on a few different factors.
But investor is purchasing a home with a tenant in it. Like that is cut and dry.
Yes, if there's not a tenant in by the day that the buyer is settling on the property, we're guaranteeing that we'll have one placed within 30 days. If not, we would make the rent payment to the buyer.
So some of these properties that you're seeing, Chris, are potentially rented, potentially not. I guess that answers the question. Hopefully
Yeah,
it
the
did.
easiest thing, we can talk offline, kind of case by case on where the individual status of the house is. Yep.
All right. Okay, Pam, I'm gonna turn everything over to you to close this out. Unless anyone else has any other questions, I'll monitor the little chat box.
Okay, well, first of all, I wanted to thank everybody, all of our panelists for joining, and everybody that joined in to follow us on this webinar. If you have any questions afterwards, again, Xander's email is alexander@crofmaryland.com. You can reach out to me. My information is right on the screen, Pam at CR of Maryland, or you can reach out to Jean at CR of Maryland. And I guess that's it. I want to really thank everybody. This is our first one, so we just hope to perfect it and just continue to get better. So make sure you follow us on social media. Again, next week we will be back at this, and we will be again with Blake and Josh, and discussing financing your investment and any updates, because we know a lot of stuff is going on in the mortgage industry. So we're gonna find out what's going on. So it will be at the same place and the same time. So I will see you guys next week, and stay safe.
Yeah. Well, we can send a recap that will include the recording as well as some information for next week, and we'll send out contact information for all the panelists here. So if anyone has any follow-up questions, that'll all be available after this call.
Yes.
All right, and Howard said that we did a great job, so thank you, Howard.
Howard, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. 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 Thank you.